And now to a story of the greatest disaster in the history of British polar exploration. All 129 men on board HMS Terror died during a doomed expedition back in 1845. They were trying to discover the elusive Northwest Passage. Well, the final fate of Sir John Franklin's crew and how they perished is still a mystery. However, their ship has been discovered perfectly preserved at the bottom of an Arctic bay. The polar explorer Mark Wood joins us now live from Stratford-upon-Avon. Really good to speak to you about this, Mark. I must admit, I didn't know this tale until today and this ship being uncovered. Remind us of the background to this, what's being termed disaster.
Well, Sir John Franklin was an incredible explorer in his day and is part of history, polar history. And it runs alongside great explorers like Scott and Shackleton, and this was part of one of the expeditions that they launched to find a Northwest Passage or a way through as a trading route back in the day. Many people lost their lives on loads of expeditions, and this is just in expedition folklore, if you like. And to find it today is an incredible thing, really incredible news to hear that it's been found.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mystery. It simply disappeared. So it's been missing since 1845. It's now turned up perfectly preserved, frozen. What do we know about the discovery that's been made?
Well, you know, it's perfectly preserved because you're in minus temperatures here. I mean, I've operated in the areas above there, actually, and I've just recently got back from the North Geographic Pole, which is 1,000 miles further north. So, you know, I know these conditions very, very well, and I know how isolated the areas are. I know that a few Inuit people had an idea of the location, but to actually find it was a mystery in itself. But it doesn't really surprise me to, you know, to read that it's been preserved so well. And I've also read that it's not going to be, there's no plans to take it out of the ocean either, which is a little bit of a shame because I think people need to see this.
And we're just looking at pictures now of the wreckage that's been discovered deep down in the water there. We talked there about the men that were on board, 129 of them. What happened to them is still a mystery. Presumably, in your circles, there are various theories about what happened to them.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking of an area where they didn't have location beacons, they didn't have satellite phones or any communication with the outside world. So these guys were sent off from, you know, bays in the UK and surrounding areas, and just 2 years later, hopefully they'd turn back up on the shores, and that was how these pioneers of the ice operated at that time. So the mystery, you know, would have been within the first 2 years of why they didn't return, and to actually send out teams to go and to recce and try and find them was a massive expedition in itself. I mean, none of the areas have been mapped, and it was really true exploration. So this is why they weren't found at the time. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. We carry up-to-date equipment to locate where we are.
A little bit different, but still a little bit dangerous. Mark Wood from Stratford-upon-Avon, Polar Explorer. Thank you very much for talking to us here on Sky News.
Thank you.